Hey everybody. So wanted to show you export presets in Lightroom Classic, show how easy that is to create a preset that you can export, save your images out, and you can just click on that and it has all the criteria for you. And before we jump into Lightroom, just wanted to remind you to please subscribe for Photoshop and Lightroom tutorials and live streams to my youtube.com/digitalartdrew, or go to YouTube and just do a search for Digital Art Drew. Don't be shy. Digital Art Drew. Look for me on YouTube, please. And let's jump over to Lightroom. So here we are in Lightroom, and I'm going to go full screen. So yes, here I'm in Lightroom. I'm in this one image. I go back to library, hit the G key. I haven't really developed a lot of these, but say I grabbed one, and then I hold down the Command key on a Mac, Control on a PC. I can click arbitrary images, keep Command clicking. So 1, 2, 3. So say 4 images. I have 4 images selected. It can be as many as I want, or just a single image. And then I simply just click on the export button at the bottom left. This pops open the export dialog box. I'm going to bring that up. And as you can see, I already have a bunch of user presets, but for the sake of this lesson, I'll show you to create a new one. So the first one is, the first criteria you look for is at the top. You look for export to. So it says email, hard drive, CD, DVD. I had some of like the Aurora HDR plugins or Luminar installed. So those are extra options, but you mainly focus on email, hard drive, or CD, DVD. So in this case, hard drive, I'd be able to save it to, say, my desktop. So I choose hard drive. And then it says export to specific folder up top. And then it tells you what folder it might be saving it to. But what I will do is I will say choose. And then I will go to desktop. And then I would click on new folder. And I'll just, in all caps, type export / saved. And I could call it images, photos, whatever. Call it export saved photos. Hit create. And then I choose the choose button, bottom right. So now it defaults to folder, my name, desktop, export / save photos, which is on the desktop. I don't want to create a subfolder. That was something that you would do particularly in any type of project or job. But this is to generally be able to save into an export saved folder on my desktop. Okay. And then it says existing files ask what to do. So that's just saying that if you already have the same file already saved, you'll get like a prompt asking what you want to do. If you were always going to rename them, you could check the rename to option under file naming, but I would suggest not to do this because this is a nice general preset to have, that you don't want it to be renaming it to, say, food related when you are taking photos of traveling somewhere. So keep that off. And then we go down to file settings. So typically people save things in JPEG, they share it to social or for a class. So I have it set to JPEG. Quality is set to 100. Color space is sRGB. And then under image sizing, you pretty much always want to choose a size for the export. So you can either choose resize to fit. For the width and height, it's set to 2048, which is for Facebook. But I'm going to change to long edge. So for the long edge, so if it's a vertical, that means the most tall vertical part, or if it's horizontal, it would be the horizontal or width of the image. And you can choose pixels or inch. So if I say IN for inch, and I say I want it to be, I don't know, say 12 inches in resolution, and then I go back to where it says IN and I choose pixels, it'll tell me that it's 1800 pixels, same as 12 inches. And then the resolution 150 is fine. Now, if this is something that you were saving out for print, then obviously find out what the print size should be in inches, or if they say pixels. And then most likely the resolution would be 300 pixels per inch for printing. Most of the time I showcase my work online. So in this case, I keep the resolution to 150. If you've already done sharpening, I don't necessarily believe you have to do it as you output, but you can choose sharpen, and you can say for screen, matte paper, or glossy. I've already sharpened, so I turn that off. Metadata, that just means the information connected to your file, to your JPEG. Copyright only, so it would be if you had a copyright set up in Lightroom Classic, it would be copyright your name and maybe the date, or just copyright your name. I usually keep just copyright only. If you had a watermark, that's where you would check to have a watermark kind of stamped on your images when you export. And then the next one is post-processing. After export, I always choose show in Finder as opposed to do nothing, because then that way it shows me, it makes a ding sound. It shows me that it was successful. So after you've set up all this criteria, the most important thing is not to just click the export button, but to go over to the bottom of the left side where it says add, click on the add button and just call it export saved. And if it's going to be JPEGs, make it JPEGs. If it's, say, TIFF images for print, you could call it TIFF images for print, or TIFF for print, or print TIFFs, whatever your style of naming convention is. But in this case, I'm just going to say export saved JPEGs folder. It says user presets, it defaults to. And then when I hit create, there it is. And I believe if I were to right click, yes, if I right click on it, I can rename it. So in this case, I wanted to show that I could all caps, exported, saved JPEGs. And then I just simply would then click on the export. It shows the progress bar top left. It's exporting 4 files. Does that ding, like I said, and then it shows you that it's saved the 4 images out. And because it's vertical for the long edge, they're all 1800 pixels or 12 inches tall. So those are my images, making you hungry. But yeah, it works pretty seamlessly. And so the beauty is I could choose, so I jump back in the grid view in the library module. I choose another, in this case, random 4. I hit export, and then immediately when this pops up, it's even highlighted the last selection I made, the user preset of exported saved JPEGs. So then it's showing you that it's going into that specific folder on your desktop, exported saved photos. You're not going to rename it. Just keep the file names that you already have. And then it'll be a JPEG sRGB long edge of 12. And like I said, this could be a whole different series of images that could be horizontal images, and therefore the long edge horizontal would be 12 inches wide, set to resolution 150, copyright only, export show in Finder. And when you hit export, it would save them again. So export 4 files, ding. And now we have 8 in that same export saved photos, which if I command click on my Mac, you can see it's on my desktop. So it's a folder I created with that preset. So let me jump back over to recording room. So I hope that helps. And just want to show how creating export presets in Lightroom Classic makes it really easy to export, save your images again and again. Once you do that, you have a simple default, saves them in. And then to keep track, you would just take those collections that are in the export save folder, and you can, select them all, and on a Mac, right click and put them into a new folder, or just create a new folder on a PC or Mac and drag them into whatever the name of that theme is. But I hope that helps. So once again, just a reminder, Please subscribe to me on YouTube for more Photoshop and Lightroom tutorials, as well as the various live streams that I do. That's youtube.com, Digital Art Drew. Thank you very much.